Yeah, so Steven, so happy to have you. So we've been chatting with Steven back and forth for a few months. Steven busy, I'm busy, and like now finally we've connected. And Steven also introduced recently his platform, which is amazing, which will change. I mean, a lot of things for dropshipping, for e-commerce, and overall, like your track record. I mean, it's I don't know like anyone who's doing that volume with dropshipping with e-commerce. So that's quite impressive. And you're not just like sharing screenshots. You're like, here's my dashboard. Here's everything. You know, it's all real, right? And so it's very nice. I remember Steven from like that's like screenshot, like 360,000 a day or so, and it was like, surreal. Like it's like ooh, you know. Because like the most that I like the level that we've been like max like 100K per day, but that was like 300. Geez, so this guy. Now finally we've connected, so happy to have Steven here.
Thank you, man. Thank you.
Yes. So where
thank
it
you
all
so much.
started, like where is like so you're from Singapore. Singapore is an amazing country. Like we have one of our companies in Singapore. I mean, very very good people to deal with, like very serious. I mean, very like good banking system. And like how it all like started for you. Like, have you ever worked like 9 to 5 job, or like you transitioned, or how it
Yeah,
was?
for sure, man. So I kind of like started back in my college days in 2006. So I
Mhm.
was kind of like in China because my mom kind of wanted to, try a business venture there. So I didn't really want her to be alone in China. So kind of went there and like to study my college. So, but kind of like, things wasn't really going very well for me and my family. So I kind of like have to drop out of university because like, I don't want my mom to kind of like have such a huge burden paying my college fees.
Mhm.
So like, but I think things went well. So I was actually trying all sorts of things. I was studying like internet marketing center, which most of the internet marketing guys wouldn't know. Only the old guys would know it. So that's kind of my first go-to guide, Corey Rudolph's
Mhm.
Internet Marketing Center.
Oh yeah,
And
that guy.
yeah,
He died, right? In the accident.
yeah, he died trying racing a car. So like, it was kind of big pity because he's really good. So
Mhm.
he's kind of like my first mentor in like internet marketing because like I really have no money at that point of time. So like
Mhm.
I was just like doing what everyone's doing. I was searching online, make money online. I was trying to make a living, right?
Mhm.
So I kind of like it didn't work for me, but I kind of learned my basics for internet marketing, digital marketing. So I
Mhm.
kind of came upon their second course, which is one of the course which taught people how to sell on eBay.
Mhm.
So since I was in China, and a lot of things that they taught kind of like really resonate and really make sense for me. I could
Mhm.
just go to Alibaba, I could go to Taobao, and I started my first. I didn't really like kind of like follow like word for word, but I kind of like make use of what was available to my resources back then, which was like
Mhm.
I don't have a lot of money, so I started
Mhm.
buying from Taobao. Taobao is kind of like the Amazon of like, in China. So I was
Mhm.
buying from suppliers and just reselling it on eBay. And I kind of started making good money with it. Like, my first like $10,000 profit per month,
Mhm.
and I started doing from there. But after like, 5, 6 months in, I was really confident and I was preparing to drop out of university, after I dropped out and the shit storm came. My PayPal was frozen. They said, all right, we can validate where you're from. You're from
Uh-huh.
Asia, and like some like so they blocked my account. I have about 50,000 inside,
Mhm.
and like that's kind of like all my savings back then. I was like literally destroyed overnight by like PayPal and eBay.
Mhm.
So that's kind of like how I kind of start finding solutions on building something that's not on someone else's platform. So I started with like HTML sites. I went on Blogger. I went on like Magento. So I finally settled for Magento, but that was after probably 2, 3 years. So I
Mhm.
started going heavily into Magento probably in 2008. And like I was really running Facebook ads probably end of 2008, and things started scaling really quickly. Like the first 2 months
Mhm.
after doing Facebook ads. So in my first month, I was doing about 100,000. So from probably doing 10,000 a month just from SEO traffic. I was big into SEO back then because I don't know nothing about media buying. So in 2008, I started messing around with Facebook ads. And there was like, I started seeing big numbers, like 100,000 per month, 200,000, 300,000, up to, I think my maximum was around like $500,000 per month, just like, buying and selling things, electronics. I was selling a lot of like, DVD in-car DVD players. Those are like huge profits. So I was only selling like high ticket products, probably around $150 to $250. I've never ever sold like low ticket products like what we're doing right now with dropshipping. So like I was a little bit ambitious. I went into startups and I did a lot of things. I did my Groupon startup. I did my Kronos, my smartwatch startup. So I kind of got scammed by my partner, a few $1 million. My reputation was gone and everything. So it kind of was in really bad shape for like the 2014 region. I was really in really bad shape. I've lost all my money. I have no money. I have no connections. Everything was gone, right? So until I kind of like I was actually going into like forex for like probably like 6 months. Like I just kind of wanted to really just get back all my wealth really quickly, but it didn't work out. I lost like all my money, so I kind of have like less than $100 to my name in my worst ever like condition. Yeah. So one of my good friends kind of said like, hey Steve, you shouldn't be messing around with forex. You should just go back into doing what you do best, which is e-commerce, right? But that really struck me really hard because like I didn't think that I should go back until my friend told me. So I packed my bags and went back to China the next day, and I started
So what was the reason like you didn't want to go back? Like is that like
because I failed consecutively 2 startups. Like it would what most of the like 2 startups, which took about 3 years, and I was working my ass off. Like it was like countless hours of working, product branding, everything. It was a really legit stuff that we're working on, big brands. So I've seen a lot of people talk about brands. A lot of people don't know what's a real brand. All of them thought is like just slapping probably a private label brand. They call it branding. But so we're in Silicon Valley. We do a lot of user experience, user interface. We do a lot of like product research before we even launch the product. So well, a lot of effort went into it, but I had a really bad and really wrong partner, so which kind of like destroyed the whole thing for us. So long story short, so kind of like I didn't want to go back because I was so jaded by this whole experience. I just thought I spent so much time and effort, but it didn't work out. Why should I go back? But like kind of like I just realized that there's so many ways to make money, but why should I go try something that I'm not an expert in, right? So my friend gave me the wake-up call. He said to me, it's like, hey, it might take you 10 years to be potentially even good at maybe forex. I was like, fuck no, I don't have 10 years to wait, right? To a conclusion that's unknown or unclear. So that was like kind of the wake-up call. So we kind of went back and we saw some ads. We saw some ads around people doing drop shipping. So I called up my suppliers. I called up my logistics guys that I have really good working relationship before. And they told me all about the business model. They told me like how I could get into the game and everything. And the first month doing drop shipping, we're already doing like, we broke 7 figures in the first month alone.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
Yeah, but that's only possible because we had the support from like one of my logistics suppliers. He gave me a 500,000 worth of credit because like I'm kind of his first pot of gold. I made him his first pot of gold because I was giving him all my e-commerce business in the past.
Okay.
So he kind of learned of my situation, and like he knows I'm a great guy to deal with in terms. So he supported us with no deposit, nothing. He knows I have no money at all. He gave me a $500,000 credit, which I could use it to roll for my, I could use it to roll for my shipping. Shipping takes up a big portion of drop shipping. And I have great suppliers as well that they offered me a few $100,000 in credit as well. So that is how I was able to scale out pretty much all the money I got from like, from my Stripe, from my PayPal. I reinvested all into Facebook ads. And I don't have to pay my suppliers so fast because I have net 30 credit with all these guys. So that's kind of how we quickly got back into the game. And during back then, the profits was really, really great. So we kind of like rebuilt my entire $100 bank account really quickly. Yeah. So that was kind of like how we got back into the whole game. And we kind of started sharing a lot of value in across a lot of groups and everything. We got a lot of people following us. We also got some haters after we posted the 360K. People were like, bullshit, how is it even possible? I've seen people doing $1 million a month. So I mean, we've seen so much, I've known so many bigger players in Asia that are all under the ground. They're huge monsters. So for us, it's just we're just scratching the surface of the whole dropshipping game. There's always someone bigger than you. Right? So 100%. But for the majority of the whole industry, a lot of people are just seeing you only can do 1,000, 2,000, 5,000. And even back then when me and my brother were just starting out, we were like, dude, this guy's crushing 30K per day. I was like, oh my God, that's over $1 million per month. And we didn't know that we're able to achieve that so fast, right? So internet is such a great business. Internet as a whole, digital business, e-commerce is just great, man. It's we're so lucky to be in this era whereby there's so many things possible by just doing hustling, just doing things right. There's so many opportunities right now. Yeah.
Cool. So what do you see now? So obviously, Facebook cost since when you started, even last year, it's it goes up, right? The competition more fierce, more people getting into dropshipping, other markets, more people start to advertise on Facebook. So what are kind of your secrets for maintaining that? Obviously you want to big volume, but also you want higher profit margins. You don't want to be having $1 million months and then having $5,000 profit.
Yeah, for sure, man.
So what are your secrets for maintaining that profitability?
I think for sure, so I think I had a post before in one of my groups. So it's it's a mindset thing. So some of the people, definitely a lot of people thinks that if these guys are moving huge volume, they're not making money. But it's kind of stupid to think this way because there's no one in the right mind who's going to process 10 million a month and breaking even, right? Of course, we're going to get all this back-end info and everything, but you definitely have to profit on the front end first. So for us, this front end is very important because if you can make money on the front end, you're definitely going to make some money on the back end.
Yeah.
So I think we have to consider the fact that we have to manage things that are inside our control. So some things that are not within our control is first things first, our best friend, Facebook, is not within our control.
Yeah.
As much as you can do all that optimization, you can do all the different kind of techniques, if there's a bug, there's nothing you could do about it, right?
Yeah.
You just have to wait for Facebook, tell you, hey guys, we have a bug here. But what everyone is missing out is all the back-end stuff, like the AOV, the average order value. You could optimize your conversion rate. You can optimize your products, your pricing. You can optimize a lot of things. Those are the things that you are within control. You have control all over doing things that might make a difference. I'm not saying that everything that you guys do will make a difference, but if they are always just focused on Facebook ads, you're not doing anything on email marketing, you're just putting all this money on the table. That's coming from a person. I'm a person that I know nothing about email marketing until I met one of my friends who's pretty much handling a lot of big dropshippers and also a lot of our group members. I know nothing about email marketing, but I have the mentality that, hey, it's getting tough. We have more competition. So we need to do something about it because we have millions of mailing lists and we're just leaving all the money on the table. We're not doing anything about it. So until we met these guys, we didn't know how important email marketing was. So when this guy started handling all our emails, we had our first 7-figure email months.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so that was crazy. That literally blew my mind. I was like, dude, I was only making 10, 15, 20% or maximum, on really good months back then, 30, 40% maximum, right? Is the average months is probably 15, 20% net margins. But email marketing is freaking pure profit. There's just send an email and you have all these right sequences in place, all the follow-ups, all the new products. dude, this emails are like net margins. We're talking about like what 60-70% net profit. And if you buffer the 60-70% into the 20%, it increases your average net margins every single month. That's things that we could be in control. And of course, I know it's hard with Facebook, but who says making money is ever easy at all? If everyone's saying if it's so easy, everyone will be freaking billionaires, right? Then there's no more competition.
Yeah, 100%. So we have a question. So when you're looking for a new product to test, do you have a minimum profit margin that you're looking at?
We usually mark up a product at least 3x. So if I bought a product for $5, I'll have to at least sell it for an absolutely minimum of 3x and above. So when we usually use the worst kind of like estimations for like our profits. So we usually will at least, let's say, buffer at least 50%. 50% of the spend from the product will come from Facebook. So let's say if I'm selling a product for, let's say, $50, for example, right? Or at least use 50%. That's the amount I'm going to pay to Facebook. So the minimum ROAS I'll require for like 50%, that's 2x ROAS. So I'm very clear in my numbers on how much I need to buffer in, or in terms of like ad spend. I'm not going to spend way more than like 30% when it comes to product costs, shipping costs, miscellaneous costs, everything, return costs, everything will be required within 30%. So if I have 50% that's going to Facebook, 30% that's going into my costs, my shipping, fulfillment, and everything, I still have at least 20% gross, right? So if I minus my staffing costs and everything, I might see around a 15 to 20% net. After all these deductions, so that's kind of how we do our calculations.
Yeah, I see a lot of people, they even like so not even like drop shipping, but even people like starting their own brands, and they have like such tiny margins, right? So I mean, they do so much work like to develop a product, and then the margins are like, I mean, like what's the purpose? And they start to advertise it, they come to me, they ask me, oh, I mean, I want like CPA of like $8, with this product, or like less than $10. I say, oh, sorry, man, I cannot help you. I mean, like no one can help you. Like with
exactly, that's the thing with brand owners. They kind of overthink. Like they thought having a brand is the solution to everything. That's not true.
Yeah,
having a brand doesn't mean that you're gonna have a lower CPA. It just means that you have like a product or a brand that people are more. People might want to buy more compared to your drop shipping product, right? So that's the reason why, I know a lot of people preach having a brand. And I love brands. Know that we have some brands that are crushing it. But dude, I was like, not everyone's going to start off at the same ground as everyone else. It's so easy to say, oh, so let's start a brand. Let's crush it with a brand. That's how you do the business in the long term. But no one's thinking that this certain entrepreneur right now, he only has $10,000 to his name. He's not going to be able to invest in a solid designer. He's not able to invest in a solid product, manufacturing, moldings, and all this kind of things. A lot of gurus are not talking about it. They're just saying, hey guys, you should do a brand because dropshipping is dead and all that kind of bullshit, right? Even for us right now, we're still crushing it with dropshipping. I mean, definitely our focus is more on long-term brands like that we could potentially exit. But I mean, why kill the cash cow, right?
100%.
I've seen my students
to do something like
exactly. So one of my students, they're crushing it on dropshipping. They literally killed the business and focused on their brand. I was like, dude, that's so wrong. It's like, why are you killing a cash cow?
You can do like gradual, right? Like you can gradually like introduce your own brand to email lists, right? And then gradually like add one of the products and like do like more like smooth. Once you've proven the concept, right? Like once you've proven that selling.
Dropshipping is a great way to test concept and also a great way to use the money to fund your dreams, right?
100%.
To fund like recently last year I seen a lot of people do all the like the minimal watches, right? Right. Those projects, like I've seen one of my students did it. They had a really great product, but like it's probably making 1/10 of what they're earning from that dropshipping store. So it's very demoralizing for them because like dropshipping, not much effort goes into packaging and all that kind of stuff. But they're doing huge volume. I think they're doing at least like 1 million per month. And with their dropshipping, they're only doing like 70K, 80,000 per month. Great margins for sure, probably like 30-40%. Each dropshipping, $1 million, but probably 20% profit. So I mean, like it's hard sometimes, but they have to weigh their options.
So, Steve, who do you recommend for email marketing?
We use a guy called Joshua. He's from Kronos. I think Kronos Agency. Yeah, I just searched Kronos Agency on Google. We definitely have we have so much faith in this guy with all our emails. He takes care of all our emails. He handles for a lot of really, really big drop shippers as well. Some of my friends doing like 10 million per month, 20 million per month are using this guy for email marketing as well. So I highly recommend this guy because he's awesome. Like they have great service. The CEO is really hands down to making sure it's successful for all the stores. Yeah.
Cool. Does it work with you on percentage of the revenue, or they charge retainers? How they typically work?
They do a retainer and a small percentage of email revenue. Only email revenue. They don't take the entire store's revenue. They only take email revenue.
Okay.
So for us, it doesn't make any. It's a no-brainer for us because like last time it was almost zero. The only thing that we have is probably remarketing emails or abandoned cart emails. So like this guys kind of literally take it from zero, from nowhere. We kind of had a really bad kind of like spam score because we don't know what the hell we're doing. We're just emailing, spamming all our email lists. So these guys came in, segment everything for us, like scrub the list, remove the ones that's inactive, remove the ones that's not buying and everything, make sure our list is healthy. Honestly, I don't know what he's doing for us, but it's just performing for us. Like that's kind of like for us, we're working with a few providers as well to kind of make sure it's just working out. The ROI for us is high, so they handle our messenger marketing as well. They handle our SMS marketing as well. So pretty much whatever that's like outside our expertise, we'll just hand it over to these guys. Yeah. So.
So is it better to start with PPE than building lookalikes, or start with straight website conversion with fresh pixels? This is
last time I think PPE works really well before back in the days. For like it's really been used for building social proof, testing out. So last time, if you are getting if you're getting purchases from PPE, you have a 7-figure winning product. Last time for us, and whenever PPE is converting or we're getting sales from it, we know we have a huge winner. But right now, we pretty much don't use it at all. It's really we don't use it much right now because we start to
purchase right away.
We go purchase right away. We just kind of see a lot of garbage traffic coming in with PPE. It's just not like before. So we kind of like scrap that and just go directly with purchase. That's kind of like I think the better way to do so. And essentially,
same with us. Like we found like PPE is good, like just to get like extra engagement on the same post ID once you see that's like kind of winning, and also it's good for so overall, when you have this like negative feedback, just kind of like to level this up, like to have more engagement, like accelerate the post once it's winning. So only for that, but then again, like with you, it's like 99% is like purchase optimization.
Yeah, I mean Facebook's really smart regarding this. So I don't think we used to work well, but Facebook's just changing so fast. It just felt like it's not worth the time anymore to use like PPE.
Cool. So for dropshipping, can you create your own brand from products you order from AliExpress?
I mean, AliExpress is probably more for getting your product up and running. But if you're planning to go for volume, I'll definitely won't use AliExpress because they're really pricey. So definitely we go for Alibaba if you have volume. So Alibaba used to be really, really big volume, but the entire equation and whole industry has changed whereby everyone's starting to go down in MOQ. So you could probably get your own brand, your own products getting started from like Alibaba people, 500, 1,000 units. It's kind of like similar to how the Amazon people are doing it. They're starting off with like 500,000. It's more about how you sell your story to the supplier. You have to sell them the dream. Hey, I'm gonna sell 10,000 units in a month from now. If you guys support us, we'll make sure we stick with you and all that. It's all about negotiation. It's all about manufacturer and supply relationship. It's not just about like buying. It's not just about pricing. It's all about building this relationship. So to be honest, if I don't have all these relationships from the past, I wouldn't be able to get that into the game so fast with no money, right? That's kind of like the cold hard truth. I've seen a lot of people crushing it, but they have to scale down because they don't have the funds or the cash flow to roll, because like Stripe takes 7 days. You can't wait for the money to pay for the ads. You have to pay the suppliers before they ship out.
You guys in Singapore have it hard. Like with
Stripe. Yeah, exactly. So like, it's all this kind of things that matters. But I would say if you guys are crushing it with drop shipping, definitely pull out the product, create a niche store. If it makes sense for you guys, create a brand. I don't think like the single product brand is gonna last a long while. But if you could crush an extra like 10, 20,000 units, that's gonna make a huge difference to the bottom line.
And what are your plans like long term? You want to switch more, like develop your own brand over time, or like for time being?
Yeah. So for now, like we are building an entire team that's just brand focused e-commerce. We are not going to mess around with any drop shipping, any like low tickets. So for like these are the guys that takes like products very seriously. It's like products that we care about, like the design, the logo, the packaging, the unboxing experience, the interaction, the customer support, the fulfillment time, everything. Because like to have a strong brand, it's not about just one equation. It's the 360 degrees equation that you have to be like aware of, right? A lot of people just say, "Oh, you just need a good product." No, you need to have great marketing.
You just need good targeting on Facebook ads. That's it. Man.
And they thought that's kind of like the magic genie, like the button, one press button and you're done. No way. It's like even if you have the best product in the world and no one sees it, or you have shitty marketing, it's not gonna work, right? I mean, like let's be upfront here. Everyone knows. A lot of people knows. It's just a different angle. Like branding is just an extra layer of angle to help your product sell better. But it's not the magic button right there.
and so this brand. So so when you're thinking about like starting your own brand, like what's the pricing point? What are the margins are with that brand? Obviously, you won't do it like if that wasn't like very good margins. Like higher price point probably, right? So what are your thoughts on that?
So usually what we look out for is how big is this market. So we definitely wouldn't go into a market that is super niche, probably like only 100,000 or 200,000 people targetable on Facebook ads. So we'll definitely see if there's any good competitors on the market. What's we'll go in, we'll research them based on like their comments. We'll read about their reviews. We'll see how we could change the product to make it a better product and a cheaper product. So let's say if they're selling it for like $99, we'll come in at probably $69 to $79 to really crush the competition, because we are people that come in and we want this market. So it's a matter of fighting for this market. We have to be price competitive. We have to be functions competitive, and we have to have like great service, great branding, great everything. So that's kind of like building like a really solid team that will be like really. We'll see a lot of different results next year. This year we have like some brands. It's not, I wouldn't say they're like full-fledged brands. It's like brands that are doing solid 300,000-400,000 per month, and we have a couple of them. Those are like brands that receive about a 35 to 40% like margins, because we're charging premium. But definitely, when we compare those stores with our drop shipping stores, there's a huge difference in volume, right? We have, but the thing is, like, these are probably potential brands that could, sell for a couple million. I wouldn't see them selling for like 10 million. I'm really clear about our expectations with all these brands, because it's all like one or two products. But the future brands that we're gonna sell is usually like big markets. Potentially, like we could scale this internationally, like we could scale this offline, we could scale this in online, Amazon platforms everywhere, affiliates, ambassadors, and all this kind of things. So yeah, definitely. This are like kind of like our end goal. We could build brands to probably like worth tens of millions,
Mhm.
but like a lot of people just have to understand. As much as a lot of people want to do this, it's just not financially feasible for a lot
Yeah,
of people,
man, that's it.
right?
That's it.
It
Yeah.
takes a lot of time and effort. For example, I built my Krios. I invested almost $500,000, and
Hmm.
we have like crowdfunding funds with 1.5 million,
Hmm.
and like that all went into production, marketing, branding, and everything. My After that, I started another consumer electronics store. I poured in $500,000, and we failed because like it's not easy building a brand. It's like like there's so many companies that fail trying to build a legit brand, but
Hmm.
it's just how business is. There's no guarantee in life. You just need to make sure like you do your product right. You have to make sure your product research is done properly.
Hmm.
So I think drop shipping is definitely great for doing product research, testing the market,
Yeah.
validating that your idea is great and it's not shit, right? So I think that's definitely a great way to kind of make sure like it's not like I think this product is gonna do well. I
Yeah.
think a lot of entrepreneurs like, oh, I,
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think
Or
I
I
have
like this product. I would buy it myself, right? Or like I see a lot of people. Like they develop product basically for themselves, right? Without like getting any like. I'm asking like, have you gotten like any feedback from customers? Like or they just I like this product. They like order like 10,000 pieces.
exactly. And the thing is, like, when you're an entrepreneur, right, you
Uh-huh.
fall into the entrepreneur mindset. It's like, my product is always the best.
Yeah,
You
yeah, yeah,
know,
yeah, yeah,
whatever feedback is crap. Whatever you said is not true. My product is best.
yeah,
You definitely, it's your baby, right? In dropshipping, it's like, oh, if it doesn't work, next
yeah,
product.
yeah,
No
yeah.
remorse. No product. You're not emotionally attached to the product, right? So that's the big difference.
Like in terms of like testing products, like do you see any mistakes that people are making? Like do they test too many products, or do they test like too little, like
I
products? Like
think I
what are the
think
main
the
mistakes you see
yeah,
people making?
I see a lot of people testing way too many products
Hmm.
without knowing what's the right product to test,
Mm.
right? So, like, of course, testing product is great, but you
Okay.
have to test it right. You have to validate whether the product is potentially a great product. Does it
Hmm.
have some key factors of a winning product? Have you validated that products done some due diligence,
Yeah.
some research if there's a market for this product? So if you haven't done all this and you're just like mindlessly doing all the product testing,
Hmm.
or you're just burning money, man. That is
Yeah.
why a lot of people say, oh yeah, it doesn't work. I've tested 50 products, none of them work because you're testing wrong products in the first
Yeah.
place, right? You're testing wrong products and you don't even know what you're doing. And they're not like, they're just like watching all these YouTube videos,
Mhm.
you're watching from 10 different gurus, 10 different people talking 10 different things.
Yeah.
So I know it's frustrating because I've been there, I've done that, I've watched there, I've been through those shoes, and it's kind of like hard in a sense if you don't know what you're doing. Like
Mhm.
that is why I really feel like there's a need for more guys like you, like
Mhm.
Tim, and a lot of more guys like Depeche and all these guys to kind of like really share like free value. That is why we built our group to such big scale. By sharing free value because like
Your group
a
is
lot of
amazing.
thanks, man. And it's like in this space, it's just like some people just. I mean, I've been in e-commerce since 2006. That's like 13 years. I'm kind of like an old man in this space. But
Wow.
I've seen a lot of people like it's probably like 10,000, 20,000. Oh yeah, I'm an expert. Next
Yeah,
day.
yeah, 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 yeah.
And
18 years old, right? Like they buy a car, and then, I mean, like you bought a car, like in Singapore, guys. Like so, like it's like these cars are expensive. Oh, geez, like you have, but it's people just build that impression, right, for themselves, and I mean there is no track record. Like you bring amazing track record, so I don't know like many people like in the market that have I don't know, probably anyone like who has such track record as Steve, like building like such great volume of stores and bringing so much value to people, like different products, the training you provide, the that new platform you introduce. So, I mean, yeah,
We are
that's
also trying to stay out from like trainings because like
yeah,
kind of like you get a lot of haters from that.
yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Steve's coming out with a training, he's becoming a guru and all that.
Yeah.
Honestly, we launched our program once and we closed it till now. We haven't sold anything since because we don't need the money. But honestly, we kind of stopped it because we don't have time to focus on it, unless we have a really great partner that knows digital marketing products. Because we're kind of physical product guys. So that is why we kind of focus our effort in building softwares, building different platforms, or introducing Weo and all these kind of different things, so that we could help support a better ecosystem by using the right supporting. Because I know it's hard to find the right guys or using the right services, the right softwares, and all this. So yeah, we're definitely keen to help build up a better ecosystem for the entire it not necessarily just drop shipping. Intercart is not just for drop shipping. It works well for brands. So we're also in talks with some big American influencer brands. We're talking to bring on board how we could use Intercart to help them scale even more. Probably better margins, better conversions. So that it's kind of our passion in e-commerce, how to bring value to all these kind of entrepreneurs around the world.
Cool stuff, man. So someone is asking, what about print on demand?
We have we are not an expert in print on demand, but we're definitely trying to explore this as well. So one of my partners is exploring this at this point of time. We have nothing much to kind of share because when it comes to print on demand, I'm 100% newbie. I was watching videos. I was going through different groups or talking to some of my friends, who are experts in print on demand. But it's in terms of marketing, it's not different. But in terms of your SOPs, your systems, it's kind of different because you're testing a lot of different designs. But the biggest print-on-demand guys that I know are usually from Vietnam because these guys are super huge into PODs. Any random top sellers are doing 10, 20 million a year.
Nice.
And these guys are freaking 17, 18 years old kids that don't even speak English, and they're crushing out 10, 20 million per year, just selling POD stuff. But with that said, a lot of them are selling some of them are selling some shady, copyright stuff, Game of Thrones. But these guys, they're so good at it, they crush this market. So you could
more like black hat, they get their accounts disabled and stuff.
They do both. So they do have white hat and black hat. I don't exactly know their business model, but I know Vietnam is the biggest POD place in the entire world.
Gee, man, I didn't know that. I thought it was the US.
And no, all the if not, it's either they're first or it's US first, because you have to consider the amount of sellers, right? But Vietnam is a super big important market for all the POD platforms, Gear Bubble, all this. Printful and all these guys, all of them flock to Vietnam like nobody's business. They just go there so much because there's so many big sellers there.
Cool stuff.
Yeah.
So how much? So basically, how many emails would you send per month for one product?
It really depends on how new the product is, but we usually just leave it to our email guys, to our Joshua, to handle that with their team. We don't care how much emails we send as long as the ROI is really positive. So basically what we're seeing every month is whether our revenue and our percentage that comes from email maintains or improves. That's kind of what we're looking for. So we used to only do 1 or 2% from emails. And for drop shipping, the average probably is around 7 or 8% for that people that are doing better. We're looking at about 14 to 15% for our dropshipping stores. Good. And for our brands, we're looking at about 20 to 30% on email alone. So that's really free money that's coming just from emails alone.
That's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Again, the name of your partners for email is Kronos Agency.
Yeah, so these are the guys we outsource to. Just hit them up. They're really cool guys to talk with. Joshua from Kronos, just hit him up on Facebook or I think they are ranked pretty well on Google too. They share a lot of value here. Yeah.
Cool. So what is your scaling strategy once you found the winning product?
Usually we just scale with budget. Like, so usually, like, let's say we test the product, it's working well, we'll duplicate it to CBO. So CBO has been like, it was a bit cranky, like, for the past few months. But after that, I kind of felt like, scaling is pretty consistent with like, CBO right now. So we kind of like, I would say pretty much our scaling, pretty much I would say 60-70% on CBO. And the rest are just like huge ass like targeting options, like, really, really, like, we're talking about a few million, 5 million, 10 million kind of targeting options. Yeah.
So that's why like you go into like bigger like markets, bigger niches, right? Because the targeting and everything becomes easier with those, right?
Yeah. Because like, why go into all this effort whereby you're trying to scale a product that probably will get you like really, really high frequency in the next few days? You want to find a product that you could scale internationally.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's kind of like our approach. Once we find a winning product, we just scale it so hard, and probably it will die, across a few weeks. But the longer it lasts, the better. But we always have the mentality, when it dies, we'll just try to refresh the ads. We'll try to like revive it. But if it doesn't work, then move on. That's one of the biggest problem with a lot of people. When the product is really dead, they're still like, hey, how could I revive this? They start approaching agencies. They start approaching people like, hey, I did 7 figures on this product. It has great margins, like, but it has died. It's just normal. Like, if you want to be in this game, you have to be prepared for your products to just like, die the natural death of any product.
We typically give it like, so for example, once we see it's like dying, we typically give it another like, a few $1,000s just to test different angles, like new things. And then if it doesn't work, then, just move on.
Yeah, a lot of people don't move on. That's the problem.
Cool. How often do you update or create new lookalikes? And is it viable for both existing products or new products?
I mean, we usually use the same old ones. I mean, like, we create it, and we also, usually we try to refresh it when it's not working anymore. But usually we just use the same old ones. It's kind of too much work to keep refreshing unless there's a really big required reason to do so.
And you also mentioned like just big audiences, right? Like wide interests, wide behaviors, like they work for you as well.
Yes, we love those most. It works better than lookalikes. Yeah. Sometimes lookalikes don't have enough like audience for us to do it.
Yeah. I think people overcomplicate this part, like with targeting, right? Like, because it's like, if you have like good product that resonates with your market, then, like most of the times, like even like wide interests, like they just work. Like it's like there's no magic, right? Or you just narrow it down, like flex it with engaged shoppers or PayPal, or, and it works, right? So I think that's, targeting is quite like straightforward, like with Facebook.
Yeah, I think it's just gonna get easier and easier.
Yeah,
Facebook's probably like, they just want to make it so dummy proof for everyone.
Yeah.
That I think a lot of like, gurus or whichever, they're gonna get out of business because like it's just so easy for everyone.
There's nothing to complicate, right?
Exactly, right? So, but I think some good practices are still required. So definitely there's still market for these guys, but it's just that I think a lot of people way complicated, like, the targeting, the frequency, the page, the score, the rating, all this kind of stuff. It's like, they complicated, like majority of all what we do are auto bids. Like we don't mess around a lot. We used to, because like that was the hype like a few years ago, right? There's like all this manual bidding stuff all going all around. But it's just like, dude, like we're not gonna mess around because it's just not worth the time, the effort. Unless you're using some softwares like Smartly or whichever. But if you're just doing it manually, oh my God, there's no way you're gonna be able to like manage like tens of thousands of like products or whichever. Like it's just not possible with manual.
And with with creative, right? Obviously, like, do you use mostly images or videos for your apps?
Majority 99% videos.
And how do you streamline this process? Like, because like that's I found that's pretty much like in terms of like Facebook ads, in terms of like, actually like scaling, like, so for example, you have a product, then you have to, like, if you testing different products, or if you want to like scale existing products, a lot of the times it comes to like getting, like, streamlining the content production, or just having that content constantly being like created. So for example, here in Europe, there are guys who are making, like, I don't know, several million per month. Like, they it's not drop shipping, they import products, and they sell them here, and they have like a lot of content like created for different products, even like regular products that everyone was like selling before, like, but evergreen, like weight loss niche, skincare niche, right? And so they basically refine this process, like they make their own creative, they shoot it. Like, do you do the same thing, or like you have other ways of
We
approaching?
only we only shoot the videos if it's performing. If it's not performing, we won't waste time because it's impossible for you to shoot all the videos. So
Got it.
we'll usually we have a team of video editors and creative
Mhm.
team. They
Got
kind
it.
of like preps all the product. We have a team. So every team will like we have like a product research team. So once everything is filtered over to like we're gonna test these products,
Yeah.
the creative team will start prepping a lot of different videos. So usually we have 2 or 3 videos per product, so that we can use to like test different angles. So if it's working, then we'll scale with the product and the same using the same creative.
Got it. And
Yeah.
at first, like, do you just create like edit videos from like different videos that are free to use? Like, how do you,
Yep.
or like stock videos, right?
Usually we'll just cut it out from a lot of like available videos
Uh-huh.
online. So sometimes if they those guys are like huge influencers or whichever, we'll reach
Uh-huh.
out to like buy a license or
Yeah.
pay them a license fee to use their videos.
Hmm.
Chances are usually you'll get like infringement is because like you do not have permission using like like we try to avoid as much as possible like as seen on TV like snippets and
Yeah.
everything, because
Hmm.
those guys will not negotiate with you with for a license. But
Yeah.
like for smaller like content creators and everything, it's pretty much just a matter of a few $100 just to use their video, like
Hmm.
to like you don't have to let them know that you're selling huge volume. Just have to tell them, hey, I'm using your video.
Hmm.
Can I pay you $200 just for using a video? Chances are you're gonna get like 80-90% of the people to say yes easily.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. So that's a great tip for you guys. So, in terms of like content production, like, that's how you can like basically shortcut it.
Yeah, I mean, it's not possible to shoot every single video like
Mhm.
yourself, man. It's just too time consuming. Like, and also like we've realized that like home shot videos definitely
Uh-huh.
works better than production videos.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's like people feel it's more legit.
Uh-huh.
It's kind of like it's kind of like it looks better. So those are the videos that goes viral. The ones that are like production, we have never had a single product video that went viral.
Cool. So what is the most underrated lookalike audience in your opinion?
I think like regions. I think is very a lot of people don't group them to regions, so we like to group them to like EEA, European Economic Union or something. So those are like APAC.
Hmm.
Yeah, we use a lot of like groups when it comes to lookalike audiences,
Uh-huh.
and it actually helps create like we last time we used to create every country by itself, but it's
Hmm.
just like so time consuming, and we find the performance is like way better when it comes to grouping a bigger audience. So
Hmm.
yeah, I think that's definitely one of the things that I think a lot of people are not using enough.
Cool. Great tip. So what are some tips for bundling products together?
Bundling products has to make sense, right? A lot of people like are upselling products, random shit that like they have in their stores, right? So some of the people using ours using Intercart say, hey, people are not buying my upsells. So I'm a very cool. I'm a guy that I don't really care much about like when someone's wrong. So I said, hey, that's not my problem. That's not. I've displayed Intercart has displayed the upsell, and why are
Mhm.
people not buying? That's your problem, right? That's your
Yeah.
product problem. Because then when I check his offer, I was like, dude, you're selling and you're selling something like that's way out totally different. So why are you expecting people to even buy your upsells or even your down? His upsells and downsells are kind of like so bad. So right now when we're building brands, we literally look at what would make a lot of sense when people
Yeah.
are buying upsells. It has to
Mhm.
make sense. For example, if you're selling a toothbrush, probably like a toothpaste or something that's related to teeth care
Mhm.
would make sense, right? You
Yeah, or
shouldn't be
false,
selling
right?
like a toothbrush, then you're selling him like maybe a facial cream. That's
Yeah.
probably a little bit still related, or probably you sell him a shampoo. That's kind of like different, right? People that buys your things, it has to be kind of like related to increase your average order value. So I
Mhm.
think some of the great things that we actually do is like we do take the time to kind of see what products actually does make sense and what makes great bundles. The
Mhm.
easiest way out is just to go to Amazon and go see what people like. If you're selling a certain niche product,
Mhm.
let's say maybe yoga mat, you can just
Yeah.
go search yoga mat and see what people are buying it together along with yoga mats, and there goes your
Oh,
product
okay.
research. Yeah,
Frequently bought together, right?
yes, that's kind of like your best go-to
Uh-huh.
bundle, because those are data that Amazon is using AI intelligence to kind of
Yeah.
show people that what are people buying based on their buying habits, based on this product characteristics and everything.
Mhm.
So you don't have to do, like, someone has really done the research for you, right? So go there, check out the products, then find similar products on AliExpress or whichever, and bundle
Mhm.
them together for you.
Good stuff. Hello, guys. Thanks to be here. Steve, what would be a strategy with Facebook ads with a small market like France? Lookalikes 1% have only 350,000 people. How do you manage this? What is different with big markets, and how to scale with this constraint? Thanks a lot.
What would be Australia with Facebook a small market like France? France is not a small market, man, to be honest. It's still a huge market. So I'll definitely start off with like I'll probably group the 1% to 3 to 5% together instead of like splitting them up to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I'll probably group it 1 to 0. It's not one, it's 0 to 1, one
Mhm.
to three, or 3 to 5, 5 to 10. I'll
Mhm.
probably split the entire 10 into like probably 3 to 4 different groups and target them immediately together. Because if 1% is only 350,000, it's kind of like a small stretch. Yeah,
Mhm.
so definitely wouldn't go below targeting a million people if we're starting to go into any market. It's just too much effort for too little results.
Mhm. Yeah, so you got the audience to work, and then like next day it just died out.
Mhm. And people are gonna say, "Oh shit, it's not working anymore. Facebook ads performance getting lower," because all the people that are supposed to buy has already bought it, right?
Yeah,
So you're
yeah,
targeting people that are not supposed to buy.
yeah.
So that's what happens when like you're targeting people that's not supposed to buy.
Yeah, within that audience, like 350,000 people, there's like, if you're optimizing for purchase, like there may be like 20, 50,000 people that have indicated like purchase behavior that Facebook will try to reach. And so
Exactly.
your audience, not 350, but like 50, right? And then you're hitting those people, and there are only so many of them on their devices on any given day. There are only so many of them like in a buying mode, right? And I mean, it's, and so like, have you found success with like big like audiences, like zero targeting or like?
Yeah, for sure, man. Zero targeting is probably one of our favorite like ways to scale. Yeah.
So guys, yeah, you can listen to this because like it's actually does not involve any targeting, but it only works like with more like season pixels, right? With like where you have a lot of data.
I think it's more with the ad accounts, right? I mean,
Mhm.
like people talk a lot about the data with Pixel, but it has a lot to do with the data with the ad account as well. So every ad accounts have different performances, right? So we split test a lot of different ad accounts too. But I mean, it's really like you'll see some ad accounts have better performance when you're targeting like purchases. Sometimes
Mhm.
you're targeting different kind of initiate checkout. That is why sometimes you realize some different ad accounts, even though like they're both the same targeting the same products, some have different performances, but they are all using the same pixel. So like I
Mhm.
would say definitely like ad accounts has a big factor as well in determining
Mhm.
the data. Of course, the data from Pixel is also important, but the Pixel is more just like a tracking tool. But it
Mhm.
also sends data back to Facebook so that ideally Facebook could use the data coming from the Pixel, the ad account, and optimize the ads better for
Mhm.
everyone. Yeah.
So at what point, like, would you like? Do you always test like for example, you want to test new product? Do you always test it with several ad accounts, or it just like when it doesn't work, like then you start testing?
Ideally, we test it with like a few. I mean, we wouldn't test the same products, but we usually split out. Let's say we have 10 products to test today. We'll split it across probably 2 or 3 accounts so that it's all spread out, so that we're not putting all the eggs in one basket when testing.
Uh-huh.
You never know when Facebook comes cranky and just say, "Hey, Steve, we're gonna freeze all your ad accounts, right?" And you're kind of screwed. So we have so many different ad accounts, we have so many different BMs, we have so many different like personal accounts
Mm-hmm.
running the ads and everything. So everything we do is just like, it's more like common sense. Like, a lot of people are just doing things way too comfortable. They're just not like, they just felt like, hey, nothing's going to happen to me. I'm paying Facebook $100,000 per month. Dude, there's people paying them 10 million a month and they're still shutting them down. So
Yeah.
like, a lot of people are posting in the group like, hey, why did Facebook shut me down? I'm paying them like 6 figures per month. I was like, dude, that's nothing.
Yeah.
That's probably a big thing back in the days, but it's nothing right now because they have like Fortune 500 people paying them like
Yeah.
millions and dollars a month, right? So yeah, it's just surprising how things change. Back in 2008, when I was spending like 100,000 per month, dude, I was like, it's like you could have an entire team from Facebook helping you out. You have access to the API team, you have their account managers, you have like literally 5 to 6 people treating you like God. They're like, dude, is there anything I could help you out with? How could we get you to spend more and everything? That was back in the days, man. It was so good. The ROAS, CPC, everything. Oh man, tell me about it.
Oh, nice. So you,
Yeah.
you always been after like US market, or like you go like worldwide? What's your strategy? What's your vision there?
US probably accounts for like 40-50%. It's still, I
Uh-huh.
mean, US is definitely still a huge market, man, but we still try to diversify a little bit more
Mhm.
when it comes to like, European Union,
Mhm.
Asia is still, I mean, Asia is a huge market, man, like Hong
Yeah.
Kong, Singapore has huge spending power.
Mhm.
Like, yeah, I mean, definitely like South America. I mean, we haven't had success with Brazil,
Yeah.
but I think it's definitely a big country and a big market to watch out for. It's definitely going to boom in the next few years. And
Mhm.
I mean, there's definitely, I'm 100% sure there's people crushing it in those markets. It's just we haven't found like, we haven't cracked the code yet. But anyone that cracks the code, dude, those guys are going to make a shit ton of money from this
Mhm.
markets. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like 200, 150 or 200 million people. It's like huge country, or even.
Yeah, exactly. It's just getting started. It's kind
Mhm.
of like the early days of China, the early days of all the developing countries. Man, it's just
Mhm.
growing so fast. Yeah.
Cool. So how do you validate the product and test it right?
There's so many ways to validate the product. There's like SEO ways to track whether the product has search volume. These you could check it with Google Trends. You could search, you could search where there's competitors selling the product. You could check whether they have traffic or are they all like trash, websites that are trying to sell the product, right? Let's say if you're trying, for example, let's say fidget spinner.
Mhm.
Let's say you find 10 different sites that are selling fidget spinners, and all of them are only selling 1 or 2 products on the site, and all of them have like 10 like few 100,000 traffic per month. Then definitely this product is definitely like a good potential. But one thing is like if you want to validate the product so much, it's gonna like you might not have the first movers advantage because like you might be holding back like, hey, shit, some of the validations might not be true, but it still has potential. So sometimes in business, you have to still take the leap of faith and kind of
Mhm.
like, there's the amount of you're willing to risk, it's how much you're going to make for sure. So if you're
Mhm.
not willing, like the higher risk, the higher gains, the less risk, the less gains.
Yeah.
That's kind of like, there's no way you could avoid that.
Mhm. Cool. When you do CBO, do you previously do horizontal and or vertical scaling on winning ad sets?
I mean, we do that's the up the budget is vertical, right? Yeah, vertical. Yeah.
Mhm.
We do vertical first, then we'll try to duplicate it out to scale even more. But usually the duplicate ones will not work as well as the ones that are performing better. So
Mhm.
usually we we still prefer scaling it vertically. And if it doesn't work, then we'll scale it out with duplicate ads.
Cool. Hey, what are the marketing offers that were the best in your experience? I see a lot of websites having a reduction directly on the product from -20 to 50% off, plus coupon on exit intent right away. It looks like everyone used a coupon to make a purchase. More generally, what is the method to find the right offer? Thanks.
I think if everyone uses a coupon, it kind of like, some stores have off 50% off the entire store. It just doesn't do well when it comes to trust, right? So we don't usually offer like coupon codes unless we're doing the last mile of retargeting. So usually we'll do the first day we'll do retargeting. We'll say, hey, here's all the testimonials. Here's all the best features that why you should buy this product. And if they don't buy it, we'll start targeting people that from first day to second day. We'll show them like, hey, here's your last chance. And on the third day, there was their second day will probably give a 5% discount coupon to try to salvage. And from the third day onwards, it's pretty much sale loss. We'll just give the top tier discounts because we'll trying to salvage. Usually the mid tier retargeting works best because those are the people that are still on the fence. And once you have a low 5% or $5, $10 discount code, it usually converts very well for these guys. But I wouldn't usually do any front end discounts unless I really need to.
Cool. So corporate structure question. Any advice from someone starting from outside US? It's usually hard to get accepted on Stripe and Shopify payments. Any advice besides LLC?
No, I'm not based in the US, so I can't give any advice in when it comes to any tax or corporate structure. But I'll highly recommend you guys to check it out, setting up a company in Singapore or probably a company in Hong Kong. But Hong Kong is kind of hard right now because of all the anti-money laundering thing. So bank accounts are pretty hard to get. So Singapore is easier, but Singapore has a 17% tax. And it's way easier. It supports PayPal, Stripe, Shopify payments, everything, you name it. So Singapore is kind of like the Switzerland of Asia. So everything's really expensive, but everything's really legit. You don't mess around in Singapore. Corporate laws are really strict. That is why all the big banks, all the Stripe, PayPal, everything's available here. It's all about how you set it up. So if you're looking for offshore companies, I think definitely Singapore is definitely one of the best choices. It has really, really easy banking systems. You could get set up in less than 2 weeks, and probably the bank account set up in probably less than 3 weeks. Yeah.
It's just Stripe, payouts are a bit long, right? 7 days.
I mean, if you're moving huge volume, you definitely could negotiate that to 3-4 days, but yeah. It's all about for these guys. It's all about the volume. The more you push, the higher leverage you could negotiate with these guys.
Okay, cool. What about scaling at CBO? Should we collect all performing ad set and test on large budget at CBO, or take single ad set CBO campaign at 50-100% budget?
It doesn't really matter, man. It's all about doing what works, right? There's different there's definitely going to be situations whereby their single ad set CBO is going to outperform all the combined. So there's no guaranteed methods, and there's no way to be 100% sure what's going to work for Facebook, right? It's all about making sure that you guys are testing out both, one that's performing and one that's grouping all the ad sets into a single CBO campaign.
And different accounts also behave differently, right?
Yeah. So usually what we do is we usually let the data does the speaking. There's no, just make data-driven decisions. I think that's the easiest way to decipher what's working, what's not working. If the single ad set's not working, let's try the other method. It's kind of being experimental with Facebook every single day. So if your media buyers are trained by you, and you kind of train them in a sense that they have to be really open about testing and experimental. They're gonna be able to crush it for you guys as well.
Cool. Hey, Steve, why do you think when so many people find a winner, it goes really well for 2 weeks, and we personally do about 10K days, and then it tanks completely despite changing creatives and audiences? Happened with 4+ products now.
Yeah, product's dead. So time to move on. Too saturated. Too saturated. Too many people selling it. People selling at lower pricing than you. Yeah, you probably exhausted a lot of the audience that's potentially gonna buy, or you
Mm-hmm.
probably have low feedback score, low performance, low page feedback score. There's so many things that could potentially go wrong
Mm-hmm.
with like products dying. There's no definitive one answer to
Mm-hmm.
it. There's so many ways. For example, if you're selling a product for $30 and I come in and I sell it for $9.90, and scale it, I'm gonna probably pretty much get all the traffic, and I'm gonna crush it, and you're gonna get way less than traffic from Facebook. That's gonna people
Mm-hmm.
that's gonna buy. So you don't know until like all these things happen.
Mm-hmm. Cool. Any advice for launching new product on the same niche? Use lookalike audiences or same interests from your winning ad sets.
Yeah, just use the same custom audience of people that bought from you, the purchase or initiate checkout or whichever, and then build a custom audience, then lookalikes from there, and just scale it from there. I think that's the
Mm-hmm.
easiest way. Or just if you have a huge enough buyers list, just use the retargeting option to show them to very targeted buyers.
What is the best strategy to run ads for a crowdfunding campaign?
Oh, that's a huge different topic here. But I mean, we've crushed it with crowdfunding before. We did 1.5 million. Then like we sold another $1 million from our e-commerce sites. But that's all done with like a lot of pre-launch. It's kind of like we kind of like followed the Jeff Walker kind of like launch style. We
Mm-hmm.
mailing list. We find the problems. We start salting all these people to get them really excited for the launch. We incorporated a lot of tell a friend
Mm-hmm.
sharing. Same goes for kind of how we launch for Intercart as well. It's like people like to wait for like good products. You have to make sure your product's good in the first place.
Mm-hmm.
You have to make sure you have a very targeted audience. So if you have like great products, you could easily cultivate a list from Facebook traffic, then start building out, start people adding people to the list. Then once you launch, you could go make sure it can go viral better if you guys know what you're doing. Yeah, it has a high chance to go viral.
Cool. So you don't do any discount at all and only for retargeting?
Yep, that's right. Why are
Okay.
you offering discounts all the time? It's just gonna make your store look bad. Would you buy from a store that's always on sale? No, right? So that's kind of like I know that's kind of the easy way out. I see a lot of people doing it. So
Uh-huh.
like it's just gonna affect your branding. I mean, even if you don't care about brand, like you're most probably not gonna buy from a store that has the entire store on sale, right? It
Yeah.
just looks.
Looks sketchy, right?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of people. I mean, a lot of entrepreneurs are smart, but they don't apply common sense in a lot of things.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, a lot of marketing, a lot of like business doing, a lot has to do with common sense,
Mm-hmm.
right? It's like how you work with people, how you incorporate like your normal, like, I mean, like for the example I just said, you wouldn't buy from some stores that's like selling like all this kind of like things that's always on sale.
Mm-hmm.
People are going to get conned by you probably the first time. The second time they're probably not going to buy from you because it's always on sale.
Uh-huh.
So that's kind of things that like a lot of people need to apply common sense when it comes to marketing and selling their products too.
Okay. So how do you get scarcity and urgency then?
We don't use a lot of scarcity and urgency. It's kind of like a thing in the past. It just becomes so scammy. When you put the countdown, it used to work awesome, man. I have to say, like we got emails like people say, "Hey, could you remove that?" Because it's just making my heart attack because I was trying to purchase and you guys have the countdown timer and everything. But like, I mean, we don't use any scarcity timers anymore. It's just like something old in the past. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's not more than enough. It just looks scammy. It just doesn't look good. But we only put the scarcity countdown timer in the checkout page. I mean, in
Uh-huh.
Intercart allow you to put in, allow you to adjust the timing and everything. It's
Mhm.
not necessary, but I mean, we put it there so that like people who likes the feature could use it. Personally, we don't use it much anymore.
Mhm. You have Euler ring, right?
Sorry,
Euler ring on your hand, on your finger.
this one?
Yeah, yeah. Euler, the
No.
ring.
Oh yeah. Already, yeah, yeah.
What's your score? What's your sleep score?
Uh, Let me see. I think it's probably last one was pretty good. I think it was like 80, 80. My readiness was 88.
That's good. That's good,
Yeah.
man.
And my
What are
sleep
your
score,
what
still
are
I
your
have
best
to.
tips like?
Sorry.
What are your best tips like for health, for like maintaining like good like productivity and stuff?
Oh man, I'm the noob when it comes to that. But I kind of like felt I need to kind of get my energy level up. So I can't do a lot of exercise because of my injured shoulder from my snowboarding trip. So I'm probably planning to kind of like get back. Like I was into gym with Evan, and like kind of like I dropped out of the whole gym thing. But I'm trying to like get back into like a better morning wake up. I'm trying to
Mhm.
sleep earlier, wake up earlier, and like do some breathing exercises.
Mhm.
Like um, I forgot what is it like the Wim Hof
Yeah,
breathing
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Yeah. So my good friend Mark Joyner kind of introduced us to the Wim
Uh-huh.
Hof breathing, and I'm probably gonna kickstart doing some light exercises,
Uh-huh.
and probably like I heard some of my friends when they wake up they start listening to podcasts. They do their face, they wash their face, they do their everything. Then they do like 7 to 10 minutes short exercises to get them into like the whole morning. Do
Mhm.
some breathing, meditation, yoga, whichever. I'm not doing any of the things right now, but I'm looking forward to doing that and probably like see if I could get more energy. But I'm taking a lot of supplements though to
Mhm.
like make sure I'm in shape. Even though I don't do a lot of exercise, probably I
Mhm.
still can protect my body a little bit more. Yeah.
Mhm. Cool. Yeah, I mean that's kind of like I think that's a part that like we entrepreneurs like they work hard, and then like it's like here it's like hurts, here it hurts, right? And then you
Hey
have
man,
to like.
I don't want to die early. I mean, with all that, like so much effort goes into building your wealth. A lot of effort should goes into protecting your health.
One hundred
Because like
percent.
no health, no wealth, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's definitely one key thing that like we're gonna be very. So I'm pretty much drinking like green juice, like
Mm.
vegetables, fruits every single day, like just to keep my body a little bit more alkaline, not so
Mhm.
acidic. Where that's kind of like where a lot of problems starts coming. Kind of
Mhm.
heard like I probably want to adjust my ideal schedule to kind of sleep at 10 o'clock, so I could
Mhm.
probably wake up at probably 6 or 7 a.m. in the
Mhm.
morning. Because I've heard like a lot of cancer tumors comes from like sleeping very late.
Oh
Because
really?
your body needs to heal after like 11. I mean, the best time the body heals is probably like around 11,
Mhm.
12, and you're still awake. The body doesn't have the opportunity to heal the best, right?
Mhm.
So that is why even with Aura, it always reminds you your sleeping timing is off. My sleep timing
Yeah.
is off. Yeah. So I think a lot of things are there for a reason. Like, so we shouldn't
Mhm.
like, I mean, a lot of people that sleeps very late, like party late every single day, these guys have kind of like, probably a little bit more problems,
Mhm.
compared to different people that has very good, lifestyle.
Cool. So let's do a few more questions, and I know you're busy. You're a busy man, so I know I'll also have to get back to work. But we'll try to help as many as possible. Isn't it harder to start with straight to absolute conversion because you didn't have any data for your pixel? It's more like a shot in the dark, no?
Yeah, but it's better than throwing money down the drain with like, PPE, because like PPE is not going to work for you. That's pretty much like 80-90% of the time, right? So if you're throwing money down in the dark, why not throw it at something that builds the pixel better?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's kind of my point of view. But I mean, feel free to try it. But like, if you're asking how we do it, that's how we do it. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Cool. How often must one update creatives on winning products and ad sets?
We only update it when it's dying. When it's
Uh-huh.
not dying, we don't touch it. You should never touch something that's working. That's kind of like where
Yeah.
everyone gets itchy hands, like the entrepreneur ADD. They just wanna see if they could improve it more and they screw up. So well,
Yeah. I know several like some of my clients in the past, like they had like working like websites, like business selling, business doing well, like 700 $800,000 per month in sales. They like they hear something that like conversion optimization tricks, like so basically like not just like small tweaks, like you're not just partial tweaks, but like change the team, like overall like rebuild rebuild the website, like conversion rate like drops like in half,
oh
sales drop like $200,000 a month. He has to like fire like half of his team. So it's
the
yeah.
thing is, when people do all these optimizations, they don't treat it like an experiment. They treat it
Mhm.
more like,
I know what's right,
yeah,
or
they feel,
like
oh, this is the right thing I should be doing.
this
It's
this
not
must be
experiment.
working.
Yeah, it should be working. So, well, people that got burned, including myself, I did that in the past. I was like changing all these different elements without knowing what exactly am I testing for. So if you want to do
Yeah.
testing, do it right. Do it with like conversion rate optimizations, like VWO, or all this
Mhm.
like all this kind of tools, Optimizely, all these tools to kind of like make sure you're making the right data driven decisions instead of like
Yeah.
fighting the blind. Hey, I'm trying the price, I'm testing the product image, I'm changing the headlines. People are changing all like 10 things on the site and
Hmm.
driving the same traffic. Probably one has boosted like 200%, but they didn't know the other element might be causing the negative
Yeah.
500%, right? So
Exactly. Yeah.
I mean, there's so much things that goes into like a winning like product as well, but a lot of people are just like ignoring so many different potential things that they should be doing, right?
Mhm. So I'm having a problem with Facebook ads that is geolocated. I try all the options but keep sending leads from other places.
That's probably more a Facebook problem than one we
Yeah.
could have.
Steve cannot help you here. It's like you have to reach out to Facebook.
You
Uh,
probably check out with your account manager to ask them to do an audit for you to see what's the problem.
do you ship the product directly from suppliers or do you use fulfillment centers?
Yeah, we do like we used to have our own fulfillment centers, but we kind of like transition everything to Wheel. But
Hmm.
I mean, we recently just like helped promoted Wheel in our group and everything. They kind of like I think me and Nick Peroni kind of like launched them like
Hmm.
on the whole internet scene and the Facebook groups, and they kind of like they were slammed with like new customers and everything.
Uh-huh.
So like I had a call with the CEO. I was like, hey, what's going on? He was like, dude, you guys sent us too many clients, man. We can't handle all of them. So they were kind of slammed, but they're still fulfilling all our products at the same time.
Hmm.
But I probably wouldn't like kind of like I'll give them a little bit more time before like I jump on with them because they're just handling way too many clients. They
Hmm.
are like literally the best suppliers that I've worked with in the past in my 10 over years in China.
Oh
The
wow.
CEO is really honest guy. He doesn't like nickel and dime you like with all different services. They go all out the way, but it's hard when they're dealing with an extra 5,000 like e-commerce entrepreneurs.
Yeah.
They don't have the, like they didn't know the power of Facebook group that we could literally send them like 5,000 new users literally within 48 hours. So they're
Hmm.
destroyed in terms of like customer support, orders, and everything. So yeah, but there were still like great options to work with once they get their
Hmm.
once they get all the things worked out. So yeah, highly recommend these guys too.
Cool. So what is the best way to scale things up? I have 500 plus purchases in my country in Pixel, but purchase lookalikes 1 to 10% not working well. Neither creating purchase lookalikes for other countries from purchase Pixel or shop customer list.
If all the lookalikes are not working well, start targeting big targeting options. That's kind of like the other solution that you guys could have. because like lookalikes can generate you huge audiences, but huge targeting, like like really broad targeting would actually help in terms of
Mm-hmm.
like if lookalikes are not working well. That's the other solution, or go zero targeting.
Mm-hmm. So basically, like related. So for example, if you're selling uh, like toothbrush, right? You would target like teas, or like you would target something like related broad interest, or like engaged shoppers, or something that
Yeah,
is.
I'll go with broad. I
Mhm.
wouldn't go. I usually wouldn't go with engaged shoppers because that's gonna
Uh-huh.
bump your CPMs really high. So I
Mhm.
kind of just go. I prefer just go broad and just let
Uh-huh.
Facebook optimize by itself.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks for the answer, Steve. Do you think it could just be an auction thing? On the contrary, we are getting to 8.3 to 3 ROAS, and then one random day it tanks to below 2, all under 2 weeks. That's not a lot of time. And how important are automated rules with the current Facebook?
Automated rules are pretty much used to protect your CPAs. You don't want them to be like spending like if you're testing huge budgets or you have a lot of big ad sets that's running, you don't want to be like spending like $100 CPAs where your product cost is only like $20, right? So rules are more in place for us to kind of like protect ourselves. And like when it comes to auction thinking, it's really hard unless you use test, like you go test out all the Facebook auction. You have a lot
Mhm.
of different ad sets using manual bidding, different pricing. That's a whole different story down there, man. Like I usually don't like to go down that road because like it's just a lot of work
Mhm.
and trying to find out the problem, because like there's thousands and thousands of products you guys could sell. Why settle for only one product that doesn't
Mhm.
like I mean, given the amount of time that you guys are spending trying to like decode this whole why it doesn't work, you probably, if you spend the same amount of time and effort, you probably find your next winner already.
Mhm.
Yeah, that's kind of my 2 cents.
And do you work with like some specific niche, or you work with several niches? So how is that like with all of the products that you sell?
We pretty much sell every single shit that makes us money. Like the only thing that we don't sell is like things that like that's edible.
Uh-huh.
We don't want to get in trouble with people like eating and dying and whatever. So we don't sell things that's like consumable,
Yeah.
or like that's like we don't sell the like those needle stuff and all that kind of things that's like penetrable to skin or acne
Uh-huh.
stuff. Yeah, we don't do all kind of those stuff.
Uh-huh.
Like whatever that's we sell, like kitchen, baby,
Mhm.
gadgets, kitchenware, apparels, everything. Like we pretty much
Mhm.
sell everything that's making us money. Yeah.
Cool. Thank you. Any tip to be more specific in the geolocated? Any tip, especially usually I try everybody that is here, but I know if it's better to use another option to target one place or small area in specific.
I didn't really understand this question. What does it mean?
Uh, yeah. If you can explain, I don't know who asked this question. If you can explain this question, is it if it's possible to ask one more question? How can you add value to product brand?
How do you add value? You have to make sure your product is more price competitive. You have to make sure it has more features, and you have to make sure why like people are buying this product, because it has certain like brand sentiments, or is it better in every aspect of your competitor. So prior to when we launched Kreos, we are more like a feature based, because we know exactly the people that are going to use a smartwatch are people that are like early adopters. They are
Mhm.
gadgets, they are like geeks. So what they are looking for is performance. What they are looking for is like the features. Like it has like connection with like markets that our competitor don't have. For example, our competitor only supports iOS. So we
Mhm.
go, we support Android, we support Microsoft, right? That's kind of like the two big markets that we're
Mhm.
opening up to. So that's kind of adding value to your product in a certain feature way. And we have like microphones that you're able to speak directly to your smartwatch, what our competitor don't have. So these are all the different kind of like features that we're adding, like features to it, and adding value at the same time to people that are potentially going to buy a product. The easiest
Mhm.
way you can find find ways to improve on the product is just go see what your competitors are doing and they are not doing well. What are they screwing up? What are the problems? What are their the frustrations? What are their 1-star reviews? Those are the things that you could easily find out how to improve the product and make a better brand.
Cool. So basically, it's not like I'll create like a better cup, right? I'll go and research my competitors if their cups, like what's wrong with their cups, and then I'll make the
Yeah,
cup.
I mean, it's always like like I don't want to fall into the same problem, like just trying to improve the product without like just guessing myself, not doing product market research and everything. I think that's kind of like very critical in terms of like building the right product that there's demand, there's people that are actually real demand for this kind of products.
Cool. Steve, who do you think Facebook focuses on more these days? The advertisers, the users, or the shareholders, or the government regulations? Has the algo changed because of the trouble that they got in?
I think that's really hard. That's a tough question, man. Like, I mean, definitely from a company standpoint, I definitely think Facebook is great. I mean, I understand they're working really hard to kind of like protect the interests of the users, because like if everyone just screws around with Facebook, and like they're just gonna piss off all the users.
Yeah.
And when the users are pissed off, they're not going to use Facebook, and it's just like a bad cycle. So like you guys have to think from a company standpoint on why Facebook is so strict, because there's so many scammers, there's so many unlegit like people selling shitty product, everything. I mean, a lot of the black hat guys, kind of like sometimes they will ruin it for everyone, because like, for the short span of time, they're going to make huge amount of money, but they're going to cause a lot of problems to the more like white hat people or the white hat marketers. Because like the white hat marketers are kind of like, they're not scaling as hard as this black hat guys. They're more in for the long game, right? So kind of like, I'd say it's a balance. So, I mean, Facebook has to protect the user's interests before they protect the advertiser's interests. Because like the users are definitely the god of like Facebook. So for us, customers is our god, right? But for Facebook, it's definitely like probably politics first, or I don't know, but probably most likely users first, then politics. Then I think our marketers is definitely the lowest food chain. Yeah. I mean, there's too many people. I mean, Facebook is there for a good reason, right? So they're definitely like a great company to work with if you know how to work with these guys, because like we speak with so many Facebook guys internally. Like they're doing a lot of things to kind of like improve the whole ecosystem, but we're talking about a like freaking top 5 company in the entire world, right? It's not easy for companies this size to push out things like quickly, like as they want to, because they have to validate a lot of things. It's just hard for like big companies like this to like hear your feedback immediately. But well, if given enough time, I think definitely things might be better, like, and also ideally, I think probably 10 years down the road, you could just slap up an ad and start getting sales. I think that's kind of where they want to be.
I wasn't like Facebook headquarters, so they like basically their vision is like for all of the targeting like to like disappear. So all of these settings, it probably will be like a simple like survey, like what is your market, like who do you want to sell to, all of this stuff, and then all you have to focus on is your like creative, your message, your ads, like that's basically all you. So I mean, I think a lot of like agencies, like they will, I mean, they all either will disappear or they'll have to like refocus on just like creating that, content and the ads, like because that's what will be like a lot more focus and all that. So I think like Facebook wants to take like CBO, like campaign budget optimization. They want to take this, so they can control that part, and then gradually it's probably will just go more and more in that direction where they want to have more control with all of their like automation and stuff.
Yeah, for sure, man. The CBO is definitely one first step that you could see that they're gonna like start improving in terms of like all these kind of different things. And hopefully I don't think 10 years, man. Probably like 1 or 2 years later, we might see a huge like difference.
Hmm. Cool. So yeah, it's probably the last question. So do you use influencer blogger, and would you recommend an exclusive discount or general code?
We do influences only for our brands, and you have to use an exclusive discount code to track how is the performance. Because like if you're just giving the same coupon code for
Hmm.
everyone, you won't be able to track which influencer is bringing you the bulk of the sales. So
Hmm.
definitely, exclusive code is recommended, and you probably need an influencer like manager or social media managers to kind of like manage all this for you if you're serious about influencer outreach. You're gonna have like someone to manage this 24/7 for you.
Hmm. Cool. Yeah. So, Steve, how do people find you, and what like? So you have the solution called Intercart, right? So, if you can tell more about that, like what it does and how it helps advertisers.
Yeah, for sure, man. So Intercart is basically a new software that we have developed in house. It's pretty much for our own use back then, but like we kind of felt there's a need in this market to kind of like for people to increase their conversion rate, increase
Hmm.
their average order value. So as I've told you just now, like it's not just about your average order value, right? It's also about like how you could optimize different funnels, different upsells
Hmm.
accordingly to different people coming from different countries, different products, different cart items. So there's so much flexibility inside into cart whereby people could like seasoned marketers like yourself and a lot of people doing huge numbers, they are able to benefit from the flexibility of Intercart because there's no
Hmm.
solution out there that's doing this, and there's some solutions that kind of like helps boost your conversion rates with the one-page checkouts and also upsells. But
Hmm.
the frustrating thing is like PayPal is still a huge player in the market. As
Hmm.
much as a lot of people don't like PayPal because of all the different policies, their
Hmm.
refund rates, and but we have to face it. They're still like one of the biggest players in the market, and they're so well known internationally that just removing PayPal by itself is like a really bad decision.
Yeah.
And like, but it would be an even worse decision to make if you have to remove PayPal for your card or whichever just to use some softwares. So basically, our software allows like upsells. Even though if you're integrated with Intercart, you still can do post-purchase one-click upsells. You could use one-page
Mm.
funnel, one-click upsells, one-page checkouts. You could edit every single thing, every element on the one-page checkouts. And like I mean, we do allow the users to do split testing. So for example, let's say Alex, you're from US and you want to and you have like you kind of arrived on my website. I could
Hmm.
set up my Intercart in a sense whereby like I could allow like 50% of the traffic coming from the US to go into one page checkout, and 50%
Hmm.
of the traffic goes into the direct to checkout PayPal option.
Hmm.
So like, I mean, for us, we don't like to guess what's working.
Hmm.
That's key. We don't like to guess what's working. We like to know what's really working by the consumers, by the big data, right?
Hmm.
So we would say we'll test it and we'll say, oh, all right, option B is better. Why? Because like this outweighs him by like 30%. It has better conversions. So like we have seen insane like differences. Like people just start changing some small tweaks. They doubled their conversion rates from like 1%, 3%, 4%.
Hmm.
And that's just the difference. Like just like making really minor changes, like changing the checkout button to go directly to PayPal. As I mentioned to you, we
Yeah.
have the
Yeah.
feature like direct to checkout, direct to PayPal. So instead of going to the one-page checkout that Intercart has, it
Hmm.
goes directly to PayPal. So you could see that even here, even inside Intercart, we're not biased about telling people, "Hey, you have to use Intercart one-page checkout." No, we allow you to split test on
Hmm.
whatever is working best for your own demographics. Because like people from US have different buying behaviors compared to people in Europe, in Asia. So that
Hmm.
is why we are able to use the funnel settings. So
Hmm.
use the zone settings whereby you could tweak, like different countries to go to different funnels, and different funnels will be upsold different products based on like, based on whatever you have chosen, or you want to
Hmm.
upsell the same product, or is it based on different products you upsell different series of SKUs. There's a lot of flexibility. I think that's the beauty of the whole Intercart thing. It
Hmm.
enables you to like, It's an easy way tool for you to boost your conversions and
Mhm.
definitely your average order value. Like we've seen people having an extra 10-20% daily increase in revenue
Oh
thanks
wow.
to Instacart. Yeah. So if you're doing 10,000 per day, you're looking at an extra $2,000 in
Wow.
extra revenue.
Basically with the same amount of ad spend, right?
Exactly. That's the thing. Because you see, if you're spend, let's say, for example, let's say if my revenue is 10,000, let's say my
Yeah.
net profit is 10%.
Yeah.
Let's give it the absolute minimum. Let's say if I'm able to boost it an extra 20% in revenue, and we're talking about the same ad spend, that's pretty much you're doubling your profits in a single
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Because we're talking about an extra $2,000 revenue boost with literally no extra ad spend,
Yeah.
and like comparing to the 1,000 net profit you're talking about,
Yeah.
that's an extra 200% increase
Then
in
then
like.
then we had email on the back end, right? And then
Yeah,
another like few percent. So yeah,
there
it's
are all the things that you are in control, which is why
Mhm.
like we are starting. I mean, like we're definitely a really front end guy. We just blast a lot of traffic on the front end before, but
Yeah.
things change. You have to keep up with the change. You have to make sure that you're taking a lot of different aspects seriously. For example, like email, where you have to acknowledge the fact that you're not an expert. So when you're not an expert, you have to look for an expert that knows their shit.
Mhm.
If you're always like, hey, I know my stuff, I'm gonna do it alone, these guys are expensive. When you have that kind of mentality, you're gonna screw up and you're gonna fail. You're gonna
Yeah,
say
yeah.
why marketing is not working. It's working for a lot of people, but it's just not working for me. So yeah, I mean, like we acknowledge our weakness and
Mhm.
we seek help. That's kind of like one of the big ego thing that a lot of entrepreneurs have is like they kind of felt they're the biggest thing in the world. They don't want to seek help. They don't want to find solutions that people could actually help. So yeah, I mean that's kind of like how we are being able to stay competitive in the games,
Mhm.
churning out 7 to 8 figures per month.
Mhm.
Multiple stores doing big numbers. So yeah, I mean definitely, I think Intercart has a lot to like to offer in terms of value. For doesn't matter if it's drop shipping, doesn't matter if it's brands. It's here to help a lot of
Mhm.
people and good option to like have let people have more options when it comes to testing out different
Mhm.
funnels and different conversion rate stuff.
And do you have any like link where people can sign up or can learn more about this?
Yeah, for sure. I could definitely send in a link for you, but it's www.intercart.io. I'll
Let
send you
me
the link later. Let me just maybe you could let's see.
Yeah, I'll try to um yeah, if you can drop
Yeah, or
yeah.
probably I could send you like a video or something. You want to see it.
Yeah, someone
Yeah,
said still 2,260 people ahead of me
yeah,
on
yeah.
Intercard.
So sorry, guys. That's like just there's just a lot of demand, and I have to apologize in on behalf of like Intercart because like we just want to make sure we're focusing on quality here right now for all our users that's on board with us. So like that is why we're getting a very high success rate with like almost all the users because like we're
Mhm.
just putting in so much time. So once everything is all figured out, it's better. We have more customer support. We're gonna start onboarding more and more users.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. So definitely, once it's basically ready to, just let me know. I'll let my guys know as well, so they can, they can join your platform because I think that can be. I mean, I think it's definitely like I've been talking about this for the last few years. It's all about like how much can you afford to get a customer, right? And
Yeah.
if you can afford more, like then you'll be able to advertise more, spend more, and so all of these things we have discussed is like exactly what it like improving your average order value, your conversion rate, your email marketing, like back end profits, and I mean these are like crucial things on Facebook, especially. It's more and more competitive, and it's not going to be like it's never going to be like 2016.
Yeah, for sure, man. 100%.
Cool. What is tell me more about that banner behind you? It's like Super Mario Bros. 10
Yeah.
Bros,
So
right?
we kind of had like an artist drop the whole thing. It's kind of like we call it the Super Tom Brothers.
Uh-huh.
So like kind of our group members kind of like had gave us a nickname. So we kind of like drawn this had someone drawn up. So I'm Mario and Evan's Luigi. this guy here. So yeah, it's kind of like our backdrop. So we kind of use that to remind ourselves. We have a few quotes as well. So if you see that here, you'll see like
Senator, we're on ads, right?
yeah. So we have all that kind of different things here as well. Like some quotes that we like. If you don't build your dream, someone will hire you to build theirs and everything. Yeah. So kind of like all that things behind us to remind ourselves every day who we are and everything. Yeah, it's pretty fun.
Cool. So what is your superpower? Like your brother and you, like, you have different like personalities. You do different things. Like
yeah. So Evan pretty much runs the entire e-commerce things for us right now. So I'm probably more like the investor, like the chairman of the whole group. So we have over like 12 companies. We have different partners. We're always on the lookout for good partners, good projects that we can invest into, incubate them, kind of like be part of it, in exchange for like our guidance and our advice. Yeah, I mean, it's been a great journey. Definitely something that we want to keep on moving towards to kind of like find it's always great if you have like great working partners who's on the same level with you in terms of, or even better than you, so that they could guide you, or like everyone has the same goal to work towards to. It's just amazing. That's the kind of synergy that like everyone can can ask for more. That's just like, it's just amazing working with some of my partners, because like everyone's just like so dedicated. Everyone just knows like what's in for everyone. You don't need to be like mentally like, hey, is this guy slacking off? Are this guy doing their part? Everyone's just like so focused, so dialed in. It's just great.
Yeah, I've heard the same thing from like Russell Brunson. Like he was struggling with ClickFunnels. Like he tried to launch it several times. He tried to build it. I mean, he's not very good at it. And then he found his partner, like Todd, and then they partner up, and I mean, like 3 years or like 4 years, like $100 million company. So
yeah, that's for sure, man. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely like it's definitely something that I think all entrepreneurs should look out for. Working with the right partners is amazing. So definitely, like Evan's one of my partners too. Like once I have Evan in, I know I can trust my brother 100%. Right, so he runs like a major important business of ours, while I'm always on the lookout to find in more deals that could be beneficial to our entire group.
Yeah, cool. So you'll be in affiliate world it will be in Asia. You'll be in December.
I'm not sure yet, but I probably be in Bangkok, for some meetings or something. But yeah, I mean, if you come down to Singapore, man, hit me up. I'll be more than happy to catch up for some beers and some high level Facebook discussions.
Yeah, man, 100%. Yeah, I mean, I love Singapore. Like Sentosa Island. Like, I mean, everything is so perfect. It's like you're thinking, is it like too perfect? It's like Switzerland, as you said. It's like Switzerland. I love Switzerland. I love Singapore.
Come by. Let me know.
Yeah, cool. Yeah, Steven, pleasure speaking with you. I've learned a lot from you. I'm sure guys learned a lot too. So it's pleasure speaking with you. Like you provide so much value, so many like resources for to improve our whole like ecosystem, make our lives easier, like as advertisers, as entrepreneurs. So it's amazing to have you, and yeah, pleasure speaking with you.
Thank you. Thanks so much, man, Alex, for it's been a long while back and forth. I appreciate like being patient, reaching out again to kind of have this interview. I appreciate you very much, and you guys have great value in the group. I'll be looking forward to have you over as a guest as well in our group as well, to share how you could share all this kind of different scaling strategies as well to our group. Thanks so much, man.
Yeah, thank you very much, Steven.
Thank you.
Thank you guys for watching.